living here. This is a blessing. You know, it's more than just about having somewhere to sleep. It's about having somewhere where I feel safe. It's about having somewhere where I feel supported. It's about being a part of something.
The Department of Veterans Affairs had the idea of taking vacant land and vacant buildings and to lease them to private sector developers under something called an enhanced use lease. The idea is you enhance the use of property for some broader purpose. So we develop vacant VA lands and buildings under the enhanced use lease program for the purpose of providing housing for homeless veterans.
Across the country, there's tremendous need for housing that people can afford with rents that are based on their income level, not necessarily driven by the markets. We seek to bring more of that housing online and also provide services to our residents on site to help them either advance to the next stage in their life or get stabilized in the situation they're in.
It's absolutely critical to have the integration between support services and housing services. The EUL program brings those two together, providing services to someone who's at risk for homelessness or is homeless so that they will have a well-rounded and integrated experience to bring them back after their service to our country into having a place they call home.
So the really interesting thing about the Upper Post site is that it actually predates Minnesota as a state. So it's a historic site and really just sitting vacant for decades until really this VA enhanced use lease program came through and the VA said, we can do something better with these buildings. These were originally horse stables for the cavalry converted into Jeep and tank repair. We've now turned that into housing units and now they're fully completed and fully leased and operational. The projects in and of themselves are self-sustaining, so we develop them in a way that they don't require us to put new cash in going forward. The rents that they generate allow them to pay their bills, keep the lights on, and do those sorts of things. The bulk of our efforts were put towards raising the dollars to actually have rental subsidy for the residents, and that basically means how are folks who have been homeless or might currently be homeless going to pay their rent. And ultimately, we have 4 different rental subsidies that all layer together to make sure that every household here has their rent either assisted or paid for. And that allowed us to say this project can sustain itself and allows us to take our resources and put them into the people that live there.
We have 3 full-time staff for 58 households, which is a really high level. The services are very resident-driven, so it's really about what our residents need to stay stable and independent and stay in their housing. And so that can really look very different from one resident to the next. For some people, they haven't had a home in a very long time, so just basic budgeting, getting their rent paid. Other people are kind of ready to take some next steps, so they're interested in looking at maybe bringing up their income, supporting going back to school, could be a job search. Other folks who may have barriers around mental health or chemical health need some support in case management around getting resources for those barriers. We are in regular contact with our local VA, just letting them know this is what we're seeing happening. These are the trends that we are seeing in terms of services, and how can they come in and support us, and they've been amazing about it.
Having supportive services on site is essential in that we're able to understand a veteran's needs much quicker than, say, if somebody is at an apartment in the community without supportive services. So oftentimes, many of the veterans that are here through HUD-VASH really do need that extra support so that we're able to identify any concerns or issues or successes to the VA case manager so that together we can plan and help that veteran move forward.
I'm just very amazed that I talk to people every day, whereas before I could go weeks without speaking to anybody and no one knowing my name or this or that. And so I have my own room. If things get a little overwhelming for me, I just go in there, put on some music, read. It's just so amazing and so wonderful. I can say there's 58 residents here. You know, they all came from different situations, but they're thriving.
We're all here. We're all veterans. You know, the camaraderie of it remind me of the military. You know, we work together, we help each other, you know, and the facility here has everything to offer. It's close to the light rail train station, about a block away. It's real convenient for us. And as a matter of fact, the VA Medical Center is the first stop away from here. They offer everything for you. They help you in every way possible.
Freedom's Path at Hines is a 72-unit multifamily apartment project for homeless veterans. It's located on the Hines VA Medical Center campus just outside of Chicago. And Solutions for Veterans is a nonprofit providing services here at Freedom's Path at Hines. We work together with the on-site VA case managers and peer support specialists to determine what kinds of services are needed at this particular community. And typically, what we want to do is provide services in the areas of education and employment and then community building. So it's a wide range of services, all designed to provide whatever it is that they may need to move along that path towards independent living, self-sufficiency, and really bringing themselves up to where they want to be.
This building presented a unique opportunity for the HUD-VASH program and for the veterans, because in addition to having the health care right here accessible, they have access to all that the VA can offer them. And a lot of times they may have been disconnected from VA services, and that's more than just healthcare. It really involves community integration, employment opportunities. Being right here and having access to where they would need to go on a daily basis is very, very helpful for them. In addition to the fact that there really is sort of a social aspect to all of this and sort of a camaraderie that we see happen.
It is so valuable when they're interacting with one another and learning about different programs that the VA might offer. And when you get it from a vet, from a peer, they tend to believe it. It's a reality. And I've come through homelessness myself. I've came through substance abuse and alcohol. I have no problem using my story to help them. If it's something that I've experienced, that I see that they're going through, I talk about me. And when I talk about me, I talk about the solutions that came with helping me to overcome that. It's like planting a seed and being able to water that seed and just watch it blossom. And I see that a lot around here.
The most important component is that it feels like home, because it's a sense of community. Everybody knows everybody who lives here. They support each other a lot because they can relate to one another, and the biggest thing to get someone through is to know that someone understands. There may be some things that they may not be able to vent to me about, but they have each other, they have our peer support, and they're able to get through it.
I feel more grounded here. It's a home, it's a safe haven. It's just something about being around other veterans and being in a facility like this. And I don't hope that don't sound juvenile, but you feel protected. I'm around people that are akin to me, people that are dealing with the same issues that I'm dealing with. And the staff here has been wonderful. I got people on hand all day long, 24 hours. There's somebody here or somebody I can call if I'm in trouble. Got a 1-bedroom apartment. They even provided furniture. So it's been a joy for me.
To get the opportunity to do this work is just tremendous on its own. But really, when you talk to the residents, and we have folks who have experienced pretty extreme poverty and long-term exposure to the streets. Folks who've really had a hard going of it, and now they have a place that's permanently theirs, and it's home and it's safe. And to hear from them that they feel great and they love it, that's all the reward in the world. Even if just one resident were to say that, it would be enough. But we hear that day in and day out that this is, folks can't believe that this is there, and that's tremendously rewarding to say, you now have a home and you don't need to worry about where your next roof is coming from, because this is it, and you can stay as long as you want. That's it right there.